Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the MSNS podcast. I am your host, Ryan Lim.
I'm your other host, Alan Tan.
And today with us is a very, very special guest named Brian Pham. How are you doing, Brian?
Very good. How about you guys?
Doing good.
Doing
Good.
all right.
Brian Pham, you are a current senior one, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we just wanted to bring him on because, just continuing on from last week's, topic of HESI, we wanted to hear and share Brian's story of his incredible journey of going through everything that he did, doing the HESI, 4 times and then coming back to nursing. So, before we get to like the very, very end part of when you came back to nursing, you said you wanted to talk a little bit about your experience in the sophomore 2 classes first and how that contributed to the HESI.
Yeah. So sophomore two, by the end of the midterms for patho and fundamentals, I failed both of them pretty badly. I was really sick. I remember there was a breakout of like the flu or something in the dorms in Toller, and so I wasn't very feeling very well during the midterms. And I tried studying, but I was just feeling so slow. And then the midterms were like 3 days apart or something like that from each other. And so I remember getting the results of, I think it was patho that I took first and then fundamentals. And so when I got the patho results out, um, I saw that I got like a D minus on that exam. And then I was like, oh shit. And then fundamentals results came out, and I saw that I also got a D minus on that exam. And so I got hit with two AIFs. And if you don't know what an AIF is, it's a academic improvement form where you get those when you are endangered of failing a class. So I got one of them for each of them. And so that was a really stressful time because, as you know, two strikes in the nursing program gets you kicked out. And I was already um, in danger of failing two of them. So if I failed, I was like, at that time, if I failed both those classes, I would have got kicked out right there on the spot. But yeah, it was a really stressful second half of that semester. Obviously, I was able to get my grades to a B and a B minus in each of those classes, but it also took a really big toll on me mentally and physically, having to stress about those two classes on top of HESI, which I had after those finals.
And how did that work with studying for the HESI? Because I know a lot of us, for sophomore two, we like had our nursing classes, but we did study on the side, just specifically for HESI. Do you feel like how did you feel mentally just going in, especially to the first HESI after all the stress you've gone through trying to, recover from getting D's in both class in both those midterms?
Yeah, and I honestly prioritized. I mean, I studied for HESI a little bit, but then when I got my scores out and I saw I was like failing both the classes, I was like, oh damn, like this is what I gotta worry about right now because HESI, you got 3 tries. The classes, you fail a class, that means you automatically have to repeat the semester. So I just prioritized those two classes, trying to get back, and I did. And but then um, after studying so hard in both those classes, there was so much pressure on me, so much stress, so much anxiety, all at the same time. It took a really big toll. Like I felt burnt out already by before I even took the HESI. And so when it was time to study for the HESI, I I just couldn't really focus that well, and I didn't really take a break uh, because I just wanted to keep on going and go for the grand slam, go for the home run, and just finish it all.
And then so you didn't pass the first time, but then like I something different compared to like Alan and I's semester where after the first try you had a free second try, but for you didn't, right? You had to like after the first time you failed, you had to go through the what is it called, remediation?
Yeah, the remediation fundamentals review course, like Nurse 298 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, yeah, for you guys didn't have to pay for the second try, but for
Mhm.
us, we had to pay like $1,400 or $1,200 or something crazy for
Ooh.
the remediation course after not failing the first try.
And something I'm curious about is like, because you had to do it in person, right?
Yeah.
Like it was in the library or something, or wherever it was on campus. Like, how did that feel? Because I know for us, it was like whether you pass or you failed, it was kind of like you were alone, like by yourself in your room with your own thoughts, whether you're celebrating or you're kind of just like sad about what happened. How did that feel? Maybe just like knowing that like whatever your result was, you're gonna have to like go out of the library knowing that other people might ask you about it. Like how did that pressure kind of, do you think it messed with you a little bit, or what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like, because studying when you're on campus, you see like everyone like stressing about HESI, studying for HESI. Everyone's like, you go to the library and you see like all these nursing majors packing around, doing Saunders or whatever practice questions. So definitely had like, and I was, and I felt bad because I wasn't studying for HESI because I obviously had to worry about those two classes,
Mhm.
get those done with first, and so. Yeah, I just felt like I was really behind out of everyone. And when it was time to take the HESI, it was just like the most nerve wracking thing ever. I remember I was in the calf, all these nursing majors like gathering around and kind of just like setting their thoughts and prayers before we march
Yeah.
into the room. we all march in the room together. Like you can feel the tension,
Yeah.
like, all that all that fear. You could feel it. You could feel the tension, the fear, and the going from the calf to the computer lab in Cowell, and you just sit there in the computer lab, just like waiting, and you see all these people like. And first of all, it's so hot in that room. God damn it! And then, and I just like see everyone looking around. And I'm like, damn, like this is it right here. This is real. Like we've been preparing for this for a real long time. I heard about this HESI since like freshman year. We're finally here. It's like it's so real when you're taking it in person.
Yeah, that's scary. That's scary that you like, because I think there was already so much pressure surrounding the HESI since we got into USF. Everyone talks about it, like you said, but then on top of that, you had the added pressure of like making sure you weren't failing out of nursing school too. I feel like that
Yep.
just, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I think that's like the part of nursing school that I kind of don't appreciate. Just juggling both having to have the grades and thinking about HESI at the end of your sophomore two semester, because at least for at the end of your sophomore two semester, it's for the HESI, it's either you pass within those three times or you don't get to continue in the nursing program. So it's just a very stressful thing because you've worked so hard to get up to this point, and just to have only one test to really decide whether or not you can continue is really nerve-wracking for a lot of people. So a lot of respect for you, Brian, to just like keep up with everything and still be able to like take the HESI and everything, because that does take a lot of work. And I know how draining it is to keep up with grades at nursing school, especially at USF, because same boat like you, not my sophomore two but my sophomore one, how we had to take the first like fundamentals nursing course. I had such a hard time just juggling that and like patho and like and all those classes that are related to nursing, and alongside with taking my core class, which needed just as much effort. So I totally understand how you were feeling about how crucial it was to keep up with those grades. But with just HESI looming over you, it's honestly the worst. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, the worst feeling in the world.
Oh my goodness. I just can't believe how I would feel in that same situation, because um I think because I knew that HESI was going to come up, I made sure that I was okay like my first two midterms, and then I could allocate a little bit more time for HESI at the end. so my other grades can take a hit, but I can still do okay on the HESI. I think that's one thing that really helped me just get over that little hump, is that I didn't want to worry too much about what was going on necessarily in class at the end of the semester, because HESI was ultimately my goal at that point.
Yeah. And like a big part of, not just sophomore two, but just nursing in general is the support system that you're surrounded by, right? And like our willingness to reach out when needed. So Brian, does that, like, for you, especially maybe after your second try at the HESI, do you feel like like what was your support system situation? Like, do you feel like you were a little too scared to reach out to people? You kind of like isolate yourself to like just focus on HESI, or was it more like you had like a select few number of people who also didn't pass that you were reaching out to as well?
Yeah, after the first try, I know like a lot of my friends who also didn't pass, and I reached out to juniors and seniors that at that
Mhm.
time, but I just think that I reached out to way too many people
Mm.
because that kind of just like because everyone's saying all these different things because everyone Hesse is different for everyone.
Yeah.
And I reach out to this guy, this guy, this person, this person. They all say different things, and I get so confused. I'm like, what the hell? And then I just try other methods, and it just doesn't work for me because there's no like for Hesse especially, there's no one way just to tailor like a method or a strategy for one person. And so I think that was that confused me a lot. That just didn't help at all.
Okay, and let's fast forward to your third try. Um, like when you found out that you didn't pass, like tell me like what was going through your mind and what was like your next steps after that.
The third try.
Yeah.
Well, well, late before the third try, well, actually, I need to backtrack a little bit. But the first try, I actually got like a 766, so I wasn't as stressed. That was just like 5 questions away. That's like, I've heard of people who came back from way less. And the second try, I actually got like a 550 or something.
Mhm.
And so between the second and third try, um, we only have a week before the third
Oh.
try. Yeah.
Interesting.
So I was like shitting my pants, like literally, because I was like, why did I get so much worse on the second try? But why? And when I was so close to passing the first try,
Mhm.
and yeah, I was like locked in, studying my ass off before the third try, and then I was like losing a weight. I was not eating very healthy, and on the third try, I after I submitted question 55, I was just well. First of all, like before when I'm walking into the room on third try, I could tell just there was so little of us. I guess I could just tell that everyone's like stress levels, EKG was through the roof. Because
Yeah.
that was like the make or break. Is like you got to pass this try, or you're gonna get held back a semester. And on question 55, I knew I was like, yeah, this is over. I'm gonna get held back a semester. And I submitted it. Yeah, and I was right. And I just remember I went to I didn't even react or anything. I just got up. I slowly walked out of the computer lab, went down to the skills lab where a friend of mine was working there, and I just started crying because I didn't know what to do at that point. I didn't know what was next.
Man, that's tough. I can't imagine, how you were feeling in that moment. But so
Yeah,
can
those are
you
there's some very tough emotions. Yeah,
yeah.
it's really tough to be in that situation because you just at that point you really don't know what to do, like you said. And I hate how nursing school portrays it that way, because honestly, it shouldn't be like make it or break it type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it's just unfortunate that how we're being presented with the HESI. It's just it messes with our psyche enough to that point where I think that all the people up to that point are going to be totally good nurses, right? Like they would have totally not chose this profession and not chose to continue with the schooling if they weren't like passionate about it.
Yeah.
And it's just that one roadblock just destroys you,
Yeah.
and it's just unfortunate that has to happen.
Mm. Yeah. I just had a question about that. Like no, about you saying you getting held back, because I think there is a lot of confusion, especially on my for me, and I think everyone, because I think no one ever wants to get into that situation, right? So I think no one really wants to find out what happens if you don't pass the HESI.
Yeah.
But I think it is important to know. So like what, so can you tell me exactly what happens after your third try? You said held back, but I remember you also talking to me, not on the podcast, but saying that you didn't have to like retake your classes, right? You just had to wait or something.
Yeah. So how it works is that it depends for every semester, but for because some people take HESI in the winter, some people take it in the spring or whatever. But for me, it was in the summer from our remediation. So obviously you can't move on to junior one without passing the HESI on within the 3 tries. And so the next time I was able to take the HESI wouldn't be not when the sophomore twos take it in December for the first time, but I had to wait until their remediation class in
Oh wow.
Oh
January.
shit.
So that was from I remember it was the exact day was June 7th was my third try, and then my first try was January. I mean, the fourth try was January 10th.
Wow.
So uh,
Okay.
8 months later, 7 8 months later. So but people so you have two choices. You can either take a leave of absence, which is why I did because I finished on my course, or you could take a semester to just do your core classes, and which is what I know some people did who got held back with me. But I just took that semester off because I felt like I needed to kind of reset, and I didn't. Some people are like, oh, maybe you could take a minor, but I was like, I don't see a point of me going back and just taking a minor and wasting money. I'd rather just like take a break and just come back strong.
But was that decision to come back to nursing like immediate, like right after HESI, or even like before, or do you feel like you were questioning your place in the nursing program as well?
Yeah, I was. I mean, after the third try, like I didn't. I honestly didn't even sleep after the third try. I just felt I was just so hurt, and I remember just like waking up at like I didn't wake up, but like I just sat in my bed for like with my eyes open on my phone, just doing random stuff, and I get up at like 5 a.m. in the morning, just like taking like hours walk, just hours, just walking around my whole hometown in Runner Park, just thinking like, why did this happen? Like, is nursing even for me? Like, why am I even in here? Should I even like bother continuing? Should I just go back, like, do some different majors, switch majors, transfer schools? Like, what should I do? So it really took a long time, and it. I reached out to someone who, after um, not passing the third try, Kathleen Grimley Baker actually sends out an email of the list of the people who didn't pass on the third try, and I was able to reach out to one of them, and this person told me, yeah, it really sucks, but don't let this like kill your momentum nursing. Don't You're still going to be a good nurse no matter what, and
Yeah.
just think about solidify the why you wanted to get into nursing in the first place. This because this ultimately it's just a score on the screen no matter what try it was.
Mm. And what did you do during your leave of absence that helped you find your why? Like, why you keep choosing nursing? Like, what did you do during that time?
Well, during summer it was just like a regular summer, just went out, did whatever. But during the fall semester, I actually moved back into San Francisco. I didn't want to stay at home because I wanted to be around all my friends and around USF people and just be on campus because I just felt like I would be more motivated if I would just stay in San Francisco and not be at home the whole time. And I actually got my first job. I was at a clothing store and I worked there for about 2 months. I didn't like it at all. I did not like it at all. So it was a really long process. Those months were, if I mean, I would say it's long, but it also went by really fast. But yeah, I was able to talk to my friends who are sharing with me their junior one experience and how it was like and how they were doing and whatnot. And I was like, I want to come back. I want to join you guys,
Yeah.
and I'll be there next semester.
I like that
So
fire. Sorry.
yeah, so in between that time after your third HESI and that like from June all the way to January, what did you do in between to really just help you prepare for the next HESI, or did you just decide like, okay, I'm just gonna take a really long break and then do a little bit of studying and then just go in with what I knew? So what did you do in between that time?
Yeah, I didn't really start studying until maybe September, but I just did one case study a week, and I was like, you know what? I already know all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like this I got through this stuff probably you look at the submissions on the case studies, you can see that I did it like 20 times already, each of the case studies. So I already knew everything. It was just I was just going at it really slowly, like one case study a week. But then I realized I was like, hey, that I don't think the knowledge was even the problem. I think there was a psychological barrier that held me back, literally. And I I was like, I got to find a way to break that psychological barrier because there was no. I knew the knowledge was there for sure, but it was just that stress, anxiety, and disorganization kind of just screwed me over.
Yeah, I feel like that happens with not just a HESI, but with a lot of the exams out there in nursing and just in general,
Yeah,
where somehow we feel like this exam determines our place in nursing, and that makes us question our knowledge, our ability to be a nurse. But in reality, it might just be something like you said, a psychological barrier that's either holding us back or just distorting our ability to think during the exam.
yeah,
But I think honestly, that might be the hardest part of taking the HESI. It's not necessarily the studying or the time that you take the work that you put in. It's on the actual day of the HESI, making sure that you can overcome those psychological barriers to hopefully have that clear mind to present all the hard work and knowledge that you've worked up for this HESI.
yeah. Because when you know all your stuff, you've been practicing all day long. You've been studying a lot and whatnot, and it comes to the point where it's not just you and the 55 questions anymore. It's not just you and the exam anymore. It's you and your own self that's holding you back from passing that exam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what you said about the, like how you presented that was really how I took at it. Took HESI too. It's not really about how I'm taking the exam right now. It's really more about how I can come tackle the HESI exam without me really like worrying about my knowledge. I feel like when I went into the HESI, if I didn't go in saying like, okay, I know this knowledge, I just need to take this test how with a good nursing process in mind. And I think that's a good thing for all the sophomore twos taking the HESIs this semester to know is that I'm you guys know all that information, right? And you guys 100% are confident in your studies and in all the preparation you go up to HESI. Don't second guess yourself as soon as you go in. I feel like as soon as you second guess yourself, you're going to trip yourself up over every single question. And also, just a lot of the test taking skills also are super crucial when you go ahead and take the HESI. I feel like um, I had to really talk myself out of not really thinking about the question that I just answered. Like as soon as I answered it, I just go focus on the next one. Don't worry about what happened before, because that way I'm putting all my energy and all my effort into that specific question I have right now. So I think how you said what you said about not worrying about the test or anything, but just ultimately be one with yourself is really, really important, because that way you know you have all the knowledge. Just go into the test and be a little bit more confident. You'll be 100% fine, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Like you, like everyone watching this right now, every sophomore too that's watching this or whatever, you believe it or not, you know more than you actually think. It's just that just know how to control yourself mentally and psychologically. That's like really the key. And I mean, I know people who didn't know anything, who didn't study at all, and got like 1100 on the HESI, but they were just. I was like, "What? How'd you do that?" They're like, "I was like, are you a magician or something? Like, you don't know anything." and then and then uh, and then this person goes, "Oh yeah, I just slept like 10 hours, 10 and 11 hours or whatever, something crazy before the exam. And I just felt so well rested. I was like, just felt so good. And I just took the exam and I passed with 1100. And this person only studied for like 2 hours most.
Yeah. Take care of
Yep.
yourself.
Exactly. Do take care of yourself. That's the most important thing about all this standardized all the time that leads up to the standardized testing, because it's not all about the testing, because you are, despite you being a nursing student, you still have a life to live too. Like, you go out and do whatever shit you need to do, go out and eat, right? But because we're in a pandemic and everything, it's a little bit tougher. But there's a lot of different outlets for you guys to really go out of your way and have a little bit of stress relief.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
during those, between the first and third try, or even from the midterm to the third try, HESI, like I lost about 30 pounds that semester. And I went from 160 pounds to like 130 pounds because I wasn't eating. I was just so stressed. I wasn't like drinking my protein shake. I wasn't working out or anything. I just got all I did when I woke up was like study for HESI, and like you got to pass this HESI or you're gonna get held back. And yeah, I wasn't like physically or mentally there at all. I was just, you know, it was just such a so scary to me that the thought of me getting held back was possible if I don't pass.
Mhm.
So yeah, I was just not taking care of myself. So right now, I mean, I know like the gyms are closed for sophomore, uh, for most people, I guess. I don't know, depends on your area, but like if you go exercise and you just like it clears your mind a lot. Like if you work out, you take all that frustration out through running, through lifting weights. It's like it puts your mind at ease, and that's so important because like we said, when your mind's at ease, you're more calm and you're more ready when test day comes.
Agree. So I just wanted to go back a little bit on like that period in between your third and fourth HESI try, because I know you said like after you work that the clothing job and then you quit and you kind of found that fire again, like, and you said your most important thing that you wanted to regain was why, right? Why do you keep choosing nursing? So I want to ask you, like, what did you find, like for you, why do you keep choosing nursing?
Yeah, it started when my aunt, uh, she was a home care nurse. She would just like go to patients' houses and just check up on them, give them meds, do whatever she needs to do. And I was 8 years old when she took me on those visits, and she just showed me and the ways of nursing. And there were times where a patient would get like really mad, and uh, and I would be scared in the back. Like I'm like, whoa, this patient, we're gonna get hurt. Like this patient's mad, someone's gonna get hurt here. But then she was able to like really de-escalate the situation, and so easily too, with the great ease, because she's been doing it for so long. And I was like really amazed. I was like, whoa, like that's a skill that I want to be able to do. And um, when I was 14 years old, my grandma had a aneurysm, and she was like 80 years old at the time. So I was like really worried, because an aneurysm with an 80-year-old uh, female, that's something serious. But and she went through surgery at UCSF, and I remember just going in the waiting room, so stressed out. I was like, "Oh my God, is she gonna die? Like, is she gonna be okay? Is she, what's happened?" And then I go inside my grandma's room, and she's like asleep, and there's like blood all over her pillows. I was like, "Damn." And then the nurse came in, and she explained. I was freaking out, and the nurse like really calmed me down so fast. So she explained everything, every procedure that went down, every medication they gave her, and explained everything to me. So I was like transparent about what's going on, and I just felt like so much better. I was like so much more confident, and uh, I was just so grateful for the healthcare team. And I really wanted to. At that moment, I knew one day I wanted to be a part of healthcare, so I could give back, and so that people would have the same experience I did um, with my grandma. And yeah, that was a. I just thought about that a lot during my leave of absence, and yeah, and I talked to my aunt again, and she was able to find me that fire, and that's when I was like, I'm quitting my job. I'm just gonna focus on. I want to get back. I'm tired of this.
No, I feel that's a good thing. I feel like I don't know. Sometimes in nursing school, we tend to get very overwhelmed, especially with sophomore two. Not just dealing with all the classes, the HESI, but stuff in our personal lives, right? Family, friends, relationships, whatever, and trying to like balance that with our own passions. It can get quite overwhelming. So I think you having that time during your leave of absence to just like stop school, stop working, and just like focus on yourself and a little bit on the HESI allowed you to kind of keep your world a little smaller and focused on you know the single most important thing right now, which was like nursing and HESI.
Yeah,
And I think that's something that we all kind of need, even though it's always going to be a difficult balance juggling everything in our lives. Sometimes we do need to keep our world a little bit small so that we can just focus on ourselves and what's in front of us.
yeah. It was. I like to see it as a blessing in disguise, because it was such like the biggest reflection of my life, and I was really able to take a break from school and just focus on myself for once. We were in school for like how long, since 3 years old to 20 years old. I finally got like a nice long break. It's kind of just like press the reset button, and ever since then I never really had a problem with school, because I just felt like my fire was back, and it's never going away. And it showed, definitely showed. I passed Struve with ease, and
It's good.
junior one, of course, whatever. But senior one, doing well. So yeah, never. It really really gave me that fire to be able to push on to this last few weeks of the semester, and exit HESI too, which is coming up next semester.
That's good. Yeah. I was just wondering, did you have a good, uh, supporting background with you, like a supporting crew behind you during that time that you had to leave?
Yeah, most of my friends were nursing majors,
Mm-hmm.
and they were junior ones, and I was on my leave, and they just told me like everything that they're doing, and it just made me like hungrier and hungrier. I was like, the more they
Yeah.
told me stories about clinical, the more I wanted to be there again. And
Hmm.
yeah, they were really supportive. Everyone's like, yeah, it doesn't matter how late you're gonna graduate. Like 7 months really is like nothing compared to how long we live. It's like we lived like 80 years old. Like seven months is not even like it's like 1%.
Mm.
And yeah, I got a lot of support from my friends and my family. Yeah, I felt like I just felt like I disappointed my family because they had to wait like longer for me to graduate. I was supposed to graduate this semester, and they're gonna have to wait until December. But yeah, they were like, "No worries, you did your best. You did everything you could, and you're gonna come back, and I know it." And I
And
did.
you
That's good.
and you did
And you
come back.
did.
Yeah.
Okay, so I kind of want to talk about game day. HESI number 4 in January. Can you tell me about like literally from the moment you woke up that day? Like how were you feeling? Like what was your mindset going in, and like tell us what happened, throughout the test and what happened after.
Yeah. The night before, I slept really early. I slept at like
Mhm.
8 o'clock.
Oh shit!
Woke up at 6 p.m. No, sorry,
Wait,
6
what? 6 a.m.
a.m. 6 a.m. Woke up at 6 a.m. And then I ate my breakfast, and then I yeah, I ate my breakfast, and I started doing squats in my
Oh
room.
yeah.
The
Doing
blood
squats
squats.
in my room, doing push-ups, doing all these ab exercises, kind of just wake me up. And then it was 6:30 in the morning. Nobody's awake. Nobody's outside. And so I just started running up I live in Willard North, which was like it was kind of like near Corette. So I just remember just running up and down the hill, and to kind of just get myself awake. Like this is it. I've been waiting for this month. I mean, for this moment for like 7 months or whatever.
Mhm.
And I go down to the under calf, and there were I was the only one there, of course. You know, I was I turned on the TV. I just started watching like Skip Bayless or some NFL TV show or something. I was sitting there all relaxed, and it's like a normal day. It's like and then we took it at 8, so I think 7:50. I started like, okay, this is it. And then I walk out the calf, walk into the room, and first of all, when I walked to the room, I was really confused because there were everyone who took it with me on that try were all people who didn't pass the first try during sophomore 2, and I was like, who the hell are these people? and but I just that was just my initial thought, but I didn't think much of it. I just got a seat. Um, remember, like it was the second to last row, and I just sat there, and I started waiting, just like waiting for Kathleen Grimley Breaker to start, giving the test code. But like I was just like clearing my mind, just taking deep breaths, like calming myself down. And we take the exam. I My heart just dropped. Like the first, second, third try, that it dropped. But like this time, it also dropped. And this is like I mean, you guys remember, right? Like when you start the exam, your heart kind of just you got this like feeling, like right. And then
But
I,
my hands are like this, but I
yeah, yeah,
swear they were just mega
I
shaky,
was dry
dude.
heaving.
yeah. So I was like, okay, this time I'm just gonna wait until that like shakiness and all that tension just like goes away before I even look at the first question. So I just wait a little bit, it goes away. I look at question one, and I'm like really calm. I look away from the screen. I honestly at one point I even think about like I don't think this is a good strategy, but this worked for me. But like after the end of every question, I just felt like I was tired or like stressed. I just look away from the screen, just start thinking about something like
Let's
I'm really
fucking
happy.
go.
Good. That's a success story I want to hear, man.
Yes, dude.
Like it's so nice to hear from someone that really went through all the trials and tribulations and really succeeded in the end, man. Like, I'm still glad that you're in the nursing program because it just goes to show, like, if you're actually down for it, you're gonna be down for whatever gets thrown at you, and you're gonna push through it. So props to you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
very inspiring. I like that.
Thank you. Yeah. Like after the third try too, I was worried like, damn, like if I can't, um, but one of the biggest reasons I was worried after the third try was, HESI's like not even the hardest thing. I have junior 2. It's going to be a hardest semester, and I felt like that helped too. Like, being able to break that psychological barrier, find that fire. I was able to pass junior 2 with ease, and something I was worried about was that was like the biggest concern. Like, if I couldn't pass this, like I can't pass junior 2, but I did.
Yeah, you did. Like, so what was your like? What did you immediately do right after you found out you passed and then you're back into the nursing program, kicking it with us? Like, what did you do right after?
Right after, I just called my parents. I'm like, yeah, I'm coming back, and
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
yeah, I told my friends, and yeah, it was really happy. It was a really happy day. I remember watching some Netflix for a while. Like I was at the apartment by myself. Actually, no, I had one other housemate there, but he wasn't really around that much. But I was just like watching like YouTube videos all day long, and I really wanted to reflect. And I actually went back to the room, the HESI room, like 10 p.m. at night. I just like sat there and just reflected on that day.
Yeah, this sounds like a movie, honestly. This is crazy. This is literally
Yeah,
crazy.
I'm just replaying in my head, just thinking about just going to apartment,
Yeah.
just having just YouTube open, like not even knowing what I'm watching, just reflecting on the HESI, dude. That's exactly what I did like the day after too. I was like, huh, what am I gonna do? I don't even remember. I just remember finishing and then my brain just clicking off.
Yeah.
So when you tell me that story, it's just like I know exactly how you're feeling. It's just that reflection, and it just showed how much hard work you put in and how much relief that you get to feel after, you know.
Yeah. And you kind of like, I feel like right after I found out I passed the HESI, that was when I honestly gave myself permission to do nothing. I feel like a lot of us don't give ourselves that permission. Like throughout the semester, throughout the years, just constantly grinding and trying to, be the best person, be the best nursing student we can be. I feel like it was only when I passed the HESI, I was like, okay, Ryan, you can just literally do absolutely nothing and it will be okay because we literally just did it, And I feel like that's what we all did. We just turned our brains off, watched some YouTube, Netflix.
Yeah.
But man, bro, your ending, that's so dope how you said, like, yeah, like at 10 p.m. at night, I just went back into the HESI room, sat there. It's like a full circle.
The moon was out, stars were shining.
Yeah.
I was looking out the window this way.
Yeah,
Saw the
just
constellations.
I was like,
Damn, bro.
yeah, I just remember like I had my leg up on the table, just like looking out the window, kind of just like staring into space,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it was a great moment.
Nice.
Oh my god, that's crazy. I wish I was there, honestly. Oh my god.
No, it's a you moment, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like that type of emotions. it's very human, and a lot more times than not, I would like to experience that for myself,
Mhm.
more than anything. Like as much as I enjoy being around with other people, it's just that that feeling of relief and that feeling of accomplishment. Sometimes you just got to take it all in for yourself before you can give it out to others. So very inspiring to hear that from you, Brian. Holy.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah, it just it just sucks that you had to get that feeling after going through all the stress, anxiety that you went through, but at the same time you earned that feeling. Like most definitely you earned that feeling after going through what you did, after what we went through. I think we all have to like sit down like you did and then just have that time to realize that I earned this feeling of like this little happiness that I'm getting right now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very definitely a very candid moment.
Mhm.
Do you feel like if you were all online, just like how we were up till we had to take our HESI, right? Do you think you would have came out a little bit better, or do you think just having a lot more stressors from your environment would that have negatively impacted you a little bit more?
Honestly, for me, it was psychological barriers. So like, I feel like being out, taking it at home, like in my own comfort, um, it would have been a lot easier for me. And because you don't have to look at everyone, to like gather around in the calf and pray with everyone. You just like you get up, you're like bed's right there. You take the HESI right here. You've been studying in this desk for like all semester. You're comfortable here. Everything's familiar. You're familiar with everything, and yeah, that that would have definitely helped with me psychologically, mentally, if I took it, um, at home. So that's so to all the sophomore twos that are watching this, I want to say that you guys have the biggest advantage, in my opinion, in the HESI because you just take it in your own room. Like you don't have to go to the hot computer lab and
True.
it's like a hot tub in there, like a sauna in there or something. And then and yeah, you just take it like right there, and then you make your own breakfast in your kitchen. It's like a normal day. It doesn't feel like it's any like out of the ordinary or anything.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
yeah, that reminds me of what Alan was mentioning last week with like the on the podcast or like when we had Jordan on talking about the HESI about like how important and underrated the environment of our test, like where we're taking our test matters. Because like when you were talking about your first try, especially when you said that everyone was so tense and you can feel the stress and anxiety in the air, that like can really get to you.
Yeah,
But so I do definitely understand what you mean by like having that slight advantage, like when you are by yourself, when you don't have all that negative energy affecting you. But I think it's also the opposite, where like how Alan said last week, where if you do have a lot of positive people around you who like have that confidence and you feel like it's going to be a good day, then I think you're going to have a good day.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I'm glad you had that positive environment for yourself, like, or at least, yeah, just for yourself for the fourth try, at least.
Yeah,
Yeah, just piggyback on what Ryan was talking about, I feel like for me at least, just being by myself in front of a computer and having it staggered where different people take the test at different times, that was really tough for me. But like you said, being in the comfort of your own home, just just not really, just knowing that, oh, after I finish this test, my bed is right there, I could go take a nap real quick right after. I think that feels really nice.
yeah,
um, and like how Ryan was talking about how at least for me, I kind of feed off the energy of others. I feel like because I didn't have those people around me necessarily, I felt a little bit more anxious than I should have been.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe just like to end off the podcast, like what I know we've talked a lot about like advice and software tools, but like do you have any more advice, especially coming from you, someone who took the HESI 4 times, which is more than even some people take in total at nursing. So like what is your advice to the people who are going to be taking the HESI in a couple weeks?
Yeah. First off, yeah, don't just like don't take this video as um, something you should be scared of, like getting held back like me. That's like not something you should be on your mind because just don't speak that to existence and really learn the barriers, the mental barriers that I had to break, and if they're because it's really because I wish like I knew that like it was just me myself and not me in the HESI like the first try. I if I was just there physically and mentally. I mean, not physically, but I was just there like mentally, you know, confident, not stressing, taking care of myself. Like that's all you need. That's all I needed. Like I didn't even learn anything between up to the fourth trial. I didn't learn anything new, and yeah, just take care of yourself in every way. Uh, don't change up any of your routines. Um,
Eat.
yeah, eat, sleep, get a good sleeping schedule too. Like don't try to like fix it like the day before or 2 days before. Start like having good like sleep routine so your internal body clock will be ready and yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
That's all you need. There's nothing much to it.
Facts. Yeah. Like I don't know. I just want to like reiterate kind of my point about like I don't know if it's phrased correctly, but I think for me it's just trying to keep my world small at specific moments, especially during the HESI, because I think there were a lot of times where I kind of let the HESI and everyone else get to me where that I was so scared, like, oh my God, what is everyone else gonna think if I fail? What are my parents gonna think? How am I gonna pass it again? Like, oh my God, there's gonna be so much time surrounded. Like I felt like I really needed to block everything out and just be in my own presence and have my world small in order to really do well in that essay. I think that really helps. And hopefully, if that helps you guys, that's good. But like we've said, I think everyone has their own different experience in the HESI. Just because I say you do this, this, and this doesn't mean it's going to work for you. I think everyone just has to, yeah, I think it is a journey, right? The HESI is really a journey. There's no perfect formula. It's something that we all have to go through, whether it's you pass on the first time, second, third, or fourth try. It's something that we all kind of have to go through in order to not only pass the HESI, but to like find what works for us and why we keep choosing nursing.
Yeah, definitely. Spot on.
Alan, do you have anything to add, or?
Oh man, I'm just still thinking about just that, just that story Brian was telling us about him just sitting in that room, just reminiscing. Man, like I'm just thinking about that. Like, wow, like it sounds exactly like something I would do if I had to do that shit in person,
That's
bro.
beautiful, bro.
Like, oh my goodness, it's
Yeah.
it just showed how much effort you had to put into everything and how much it meant to you to really complete it at the end of the day. And yeah, that's just a very powerful image in my head.
I know.
Just
You should
I'm just
you
happy
should
that you
recreate it.
succeeded.
Like
Yeah.
once school opens up, you literally just go back there. Everything the same thing you wore. Go up there, put your feet up, take a picture, and it's so poetic.
This is where it all started and all began.
Yeah, I remember like it was like really cold too. So my housemate, I was about to leave, and my housemate was like, "Where are you going?" I'm like,
Don't worry,
Don't
Just
worry
chill.
about it, bro. Don't worry.
Don't think about me right now.
Don't worry, I got to do something.
And it just zooms in on your face slowly, and then it goes to, like the title cards.
Yeah.
But yes, thanks again, Brian. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. Like I definitely appreciate it. I think I've learned a lot from that, to be honest, and I hopefully a lot of the sophomores did too.
Yeah. I just hope that all the sophomores kind of really understand that this test doesn't mean that you're going to be, a worse nurse than the next person. It doesn't mean that this test is going to determine how well the rest of your nursing school is going to go. As long as you have the good mentality going in and understand that, you have multiple tries also, and you're there with everyone else too, you're going to be fine at the end of the day. And Brian's here to really show for that too. Just all the things he had to go through, all the mental mental hoops that he had to jump over, and he's still here. And like you said, he's about to be a senior too, about to graduate. So congrats. I'm very happy that you can complete this journey at USF and complete this this BSN program at USF, honestly.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, guys.
Yes.
I haven't thought about this for a long time, but it's definitely nice to reflect on like our struggles, previous struggles once in a while.
Oh yeah. And thank you for everyone who's watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you. This is a live podcast, so thank you to our audience. We really appreciate you guys. But yes, shout out to the people who watch to the end. We always love you guys. Thank you very much. And we will see you guys next time. Thank you.
See you guys later.
Bye-bye.